Welcome to the program The Buzz on Galaxy Television this very auspicious Wednesday, the 29th of May 2024. It's Nigeria's inauguration day, as it's called, even though the day isn't officially recognized until and unless it's time to inaugurate a new president, if you get what I mean. But then today makes it exactly 1 year that Bola Ahmed Tinubu stepped into office as Nigeria's 5th president in the post-military years. And today we will be x-raying the president's 1-year scorecard. Joining me on the program this afternoon, with pleasure, I welcome back my analyst for today's program, Mr. Nuruddin Adigbenu, who is back today. He's joining us as a journalist. He's also a lecturer and a public affairs analyst. Good afternoon, Mr. Adigbenu.
Good afternoon. And just like yesterday, 1 year is gone.
Like,
and it means the review has started. And another thing again is that irrespective of any review, we have to look at what has happened in the last 1 year, what has happened in the last 2 years, and just oppose how the lives of Nigerians have been better. So, and that is the thing. So every politician should know that time. Wait for nobody. If you want to make an imprint, you make it. If you don't want, people are going to be reviewing you at every point in time.
Thank you so much and welcome again to the show. Also joining us on the program this afternoon, Mr. Segun Shokwiton is here. He's joining us as a business and finance expert. He's also chairman Acts Network, a pro-good governance advocacy group, and he's also a public affairs analyst. Good afternoon, Mr. Shokwiton.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
The results are there for us to see. Whatever we want to say, we can analyze all we want. But I think Nigerians are in a very good position to say how they feel and what they've experienced in the last 1 year. From the feedback that we've got so far.
Okay. All right, so on the social media space, people are also, bringing to the fore their feelings and their thoughts on the last 1 year of this administration. All right, but then we'll be kickstarting the show by reliving some of the memories from May 29th, 2023, that's last year. But first, if you're viewing us from anywhere, remember you can interact with us. The number to use will be on the screen shortly. Please do go to use that number. And we only entertain SMS, okay? Just text messages. Plus, you can download the Galaxy TV app and watch us on the go on your mobile devices. Having said that, like I said earlier, today, May the 29th, 2024, makes it exactly 1 year since Bola Ahmed Tinubu stepped into office as Nigeria's 5th president in the post-military years. Within minutes of his inauguration, the president made the very consequential decision that has, for the most part, directed the course of this administration, which is the removal of the subsidy on petroleum. All right, let's start this, like I said, by going down memory lane and let's see what the inauguration day last year actually looked like, and also part of the president's speech. Let's take a look. All right, that was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria when he was inaugurated this same day last year. All right, he made that pronouncement, and ever since that momentous decision to remove fuel subsidy and also float the Nigerian naira was made, one thing that is quite glaring to every Nigerian is the fact that this administration since then has been struggling to gain control of the economy. All right, gentlemen, let's look at the president's scorecard, in the last 1 year. For you, what is the one thing that stands out the most for you in this administration in the last 1 year?
Well, I think for me it's going to be the area of petroleum resources. Because if you look at the kind of economy we run, petrol, or let me say fuel generally, either diesel, either petrol, either kerosene, gas, they are like a major driver that drive our economy, and it involves anybody that doesn't have a car or a generator. If you don't have a generator, you bought a commercial bus. If you don't have, you bought a plane. So it's really rough handle everything, and any major sector will also feel it when it happens. And from May 29, 2023 till now, the issue of oil has been the major focal point that is still drawing this particular administration back. And that's the reason why a lot of Nigerians are still scoring this administration lower, even before below average, because of this issue of petroleum resources. If you listen to his first speech, that there is no provisions for subsidy, and till now there is no provision in the budget. Then how come that Nigerian government is still paying subsidy on it? Before they said they are not paying, but towards the first 4 months, when it's not sustainable for them to be paying through the back door, they came out that okay, they are paying, but they are not paying as much as, because ordinarily it's supposed to be, if it's in a free economy, that is supposed to be the market structure that's supposed to even prevailing what the price is going to be, and it is not like that. For pegging it to a particular amount, and it really show something is wrong. So with that, if you look at it, the prices of everything started skyrocketing because of that particular period. Transportation is going to be high. Every good is falls on the petrol prices, and that is the reason why we are still here today. As of today, the paint of Gary is 4,000 naira. In some places, 4,200, 4,500. And this is the same Gary that May 28 last year is not even up to 2,000 naira, if I'm not mistaken. So if you look at the rise, how it has even evolved, there was a time they said okay, it was reducing, but now it has skyrocketed. As we speak now, 780,000 naira per bag of rice. If you look at the beans, that one is off the radar. If you look at what oil has done, then diesel, I'm telling you, there are a lot of businesses that are suffering. They are just smiling, they are suffering. Just imagine if a particular organization is running on diesel 24/7 for 1 year, from May 29 till date. And look at the amount. That amount will have gained them to have more employees and pay more to their workers. But they can't do that because of diesel and the prices of diesel. Look at the gas that happens to be our natural resources. How much is gas? Filling of gas now per kg now, how much is it? So compared to last 1 year, what every Nigerian will be using as a yardstick in terms of petroleum resources is that before this government came into being, how much am I buying these things? Now, how much am I buying it?
Okay. And
the salaries, wages are not increasing. And the expenses they incurred all the time is still very, very geometrical in terms of progression. Then now when the salary is still static, then there is a problem. I must tell you, the level of people in poverty now has increased in the last 1 year, judging by what petroleum resources has done to Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Adegbenro. All right, Mr. Shokpiton, I know you might be towing the same line, so let me ask you this question. To judge a government or an administration fairly, you have to look at different indices. But then it looks like everybody is, judging this administration based on just one factor, which is the issue of petrol subsidy. Is it fair to just, use only this one thing, to decide whether or not this administration has made any impact, whether good or bad, in the last 1 year?
Well, the fairness or otherwise will be determined by the people and how they feel. And when you understand the multiplier effect that one single indicator has on the livelihood, I'm not talking of the economy, just on the lifestyle and the livelihood of the average man on the street, then you will understand why that appears to be the prevailing factor in judging the performance of this administration. But it's not only that. That is there, and it has created untold hardship. We Nigerians are legendary when it comes to adjusting, and we have adjusted. It's amazing. So let me give you an example of some of the adjustments people have made. Transportation costs, just like you said, salaries have not increased, but transportation costs have doubled, in some instances tripled. Do you know that there are people today that trek? It's now become their standard mode of transportation, going by foot, legged these bends. They trek from home to work and back every day, something that they were not doing before. You know, this has an effect. It has a long-term impact on their quality of life and life expectancy. They are more prone to stress and disease. Some people have resorted to sleeping at work, you know, because they can't afford to go back home and they cannot afford to lose the job. You know, so there's that. And, you know, we can't say it's unfair to judge the government on the basis of this because it has affected everything. The inflation that we see today, the cost of living crisis that we see today, it was driven primarily by those two single factors, subsidy removal and floating of the currency. Now, for me, there's another issue that I think we need to pay attention to. It's been 1 year, and some would argue that, oh, it's too soon. Some of these things are medium to long term in terms of when you begin to see the dividends, including subsidy removal. Okay, I grant that. I don't agree, but let's grant it. One of the things that I've discovered and noticed about this government is there is a disturbing lack of transparency and a deliberate use of deception, propaganda, and untruths. Look, Mama P, let me give you an example.
Let me give
you an example.
I want us to coin our language appropriately for national TV.
Okay, let me give you an example. Can somebody explain to me what happened today? Just today, was it yesterday? Where
about the president having giving a speech
of one president, one issued a statement, a press release. This wasn't on social. This was a press statement signed by Bayo Ononuga, saying that the president was going to address the National Assembly in a joint session. I mean, if I cannot believe Bayo Ononuga, who is the senior special assistant to the president on strategy and information, then who should I believe? And then, just hours after, Ajuri Ngolale, who is also a senior special advisor on information, comes out and says, no, the president is not going to address
that the statement was false,
that it was false,
unauthorized. I saw that.
He said false. So this is not me saying that deception this is not me. I'm using their own words. The special advisor to the president claimed that the information that came from the presidency was false and unauthorized. There is a problem there, and it's a pattern. Now, that happened yesterday and today. Just walk your way backwards, month by month till May last year, and you find similar incidences. You find the the UAE debacle, resumption of Emirates, resumption of issuance of visas, investment from the UAE in Nigeria that was denied by the UAE government, the resumption denied by Emirates, the issuance of visa denied by the embassy. Should I go on? Maersk, investment $600 million in Nigerian ports, denied by Maersk the following day. I can just keep reeling them out to you, and I'm sure we are well here now.
So there's a lack of transparency.
So there is a trust problem. There is a lack of transparency problem. Let me give you another example, and for me this is the more serious issue. We had a cyber security levy imposed on Nigerians. It came from nowhere. It just appeared out of the blues. Apparently, some sort of amendment had gone on at the National Assembly. Nobody knew about it. It wasn't taken for public hearing, nothing. And that just happened. And then when there was uproar, they withdrew it quickly. You know, I can go on and on with regards to how things have been done with subterfuge, surreptitiously, without transparency, without being above board, without carrying the nation along. There is something called the Polaco Initiative, you know, that's supposed to be a fight against banditry. I looked into that thing. I have not really heard about it before. It just happened very quickly and quietly. And it's a 50 billion naira fund to supposedly resettle people in the 7 states that have been suffering from banditry. The banditry itself is still going on. You have not sorted it out, but you are resettling people that are still under attack and still being kidnapped. It makes no sense, but my point is that issue was not really publicized properly. The 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar road is another example, spectacular debacle, where a contract has been issued to a firm that apparently really does not have the competence, has not done any project of that magnitude before. There was no public tender, none, no due diligence, no environmental impact assessment. So the government changes the right of way, demolishes a major tourist landmark, pun intended, and then a week or two after demolition, change the right of way back away from where they demolished from. And I remember one of your colleagues, journalists, asking the question about the EIA. And the minister saying, we have it somewhere. The lady said, will you present it to the public? He didn't quite answer. She took his answer as affirmation. I noticed he didn't answer. The EIA was never provided, and they've now admitted that there is none. So, and that admission has now led to a situation where they say, oh, there are telecoms cables that cannot be interrupted. And they had to now change that. So, you see this lack of transparency in the style. It's a governance style. Is the one that I'm really worried about. I think that if we're not careful, this thing will go out of control. So we need to pay more attention. I think you guys, especially you media people, honestly, my brother, my indefatigable friend and brother, we have to keep our eyes shining.
I feel like you're profiling us now.
I'm sorry.
You media people.
I'm sorry.
That's profiling. Yes.
I'm kind of one of you. I'm kind of one of you as well. Well, I'm a partner in progress because in the civil society, we're all working together. Look, we need to shine our eyes and keep our eyes clearly, our ears glued to the ground and our eyes focused so that funny things don't happen under our noses. You see, 2 bills passed, the national anthem bill. Just imagine that. Yeah. Passed first and second reading, same day. These things are abnormal. It should not be happening in the democracy. So for me, these are the more fundamental issues that I'm worried about in the first year. I've now seen 1 year of this administration, and what I'm seeing worries me deeply because these are the first signs. Another example, I'm sorry, INEC. The government says that they are now going to take local government elections. They're going to they want to scrap CX and move the power to conduct local government elections to INEC. The same government in whose manifesto has devolution of powers, right? That move is strengthening the center and giving more control to the man at the top over the affairs. We have to pay attention to what is happening around us.
Thank you, Mr. Shopiton. Now, riding on what Mr. Shopiton has just said, do you think Nigerians, and I mean you and I, were too quick in perhaps judging this administration, seeing that for every policy this administration has made in the last 1 year, what the presidency has continued to have to insist, or should I say emphasize on, is the fact that we need to be patient. These policies, will not take effect immediately. I mean, the positive impact, we have to, wait it out, and then in the end, we'll all be happy for it. Do you think we are perhaps too quick to judge this administration?
We are not too quick. Nigeria is not a new country. And every government links to another government. The same civil servants that worked with the last administration, I say the same ones that are there now. So
you're saying it's a progression.
And look, politically, a tenure of 4 years is 2 years. Politically, the tenure of 4 years is 2 years.
What does that mean?
What it means is this. If an administration has 2 years to rule, the first 2 years is the major year it has to rule. The other 2 years is for campaigning. No, it's very open. In fact, this campaigning has started even within this 1 year. Already. That is politicians for you. 4 years, they are using 2 years to rule. The other 2 years for campaigning. So automatically Nigerians are not too quick to judge. And let me tell you one thing. How would they have a representative fine? That's what they call themselves. Have you ever seen a representative that is gaining more than those people that even elected them there? No. And if you give somebody a job of 4 years, you won't wait in 4 years to judge the person now. In fact, it's every month. That's why you see private organization. To throw somebody out is just 3 months. Just 3 months. They have the KPI, you don't meet it. The first one, you get the query. Second query, and the last one, you are out. So, if you are waiting for 1 year, we are even trying to. So, Nigerians, another thing again is this. The iyalojas in the market, the farmers in the local villages, the welders, the bricklayers, they don't understand economics. They don't understand the system of government. They don't even want to know about National Assembly. They want to look at their life in the last 1 year and use it to juxtapose what their life was in the last 2 years. And that's what they are going to do. So they have to be judging from that particular perspective. Then another again is the rule of law. Nigeria is built on democracy. And the germane thing in democracy that makes it different from the autocratic government, authoritarian, libertarian, totalitarian, is the rule of law. How fair are we to the rule of law in the last 1 year? Let's use as the one of Ondo case as an example, because that is one of the things that even the lawyers, they will say that this particular 1 year, even the military, former military man that ruled for 8 years, he has not disobeyed law to this particular extent. Let me give you an example. In Ondo, when late Rotimi Akeredolu was very sick, and the constitution is so simple about that, pure about that. Nobody is unbeatable. You can fall sick at any time. When you are sick, as a governor, you leave the stage. Let's have your deputy deputizing for you as an acting governor. When the issue come up, they take it to the president. The president said, Mr. Deputy Governor, go and still become a deputy governor. You still have a governor that is sick against what the constitution stipulated, that the governor cannot be away for a period of time. That one is one. How did they have to say that? Then the second one. Let's look at the one that is the most recent one in Rivers State. Where somebody is a governor, elected governor. In fact, Supreme Court has affirmed it as a governor. If God spare his life for next 4 years, he's a governor. So provided that he was not impeached. And if you have to impeach, there are processes. Because somebody is a former governor that was alleged to still want to be ruling by proxy, that is an issue. He took it to the president. It's not the president to say, our constitution is very simple. They don't have 2 governors in Rivers State. They have a pact called presidential pact. That you, the governor, go and become your governor. Leave the House of Assembly to rule the way they want to rule. And those commissioners that have resigned, take them back. When the constitution and the edict have even said that commissioner is at the mercy of the governor. He appoints you. If he don't want you again, even if you are swearing today, second you can go. That area alone. Then let's now be looking at agreements it has with association. Let me start with the ASU. Do you know that 2009 agreement, the ASU was decided for, even under this administration, when they met with them, don't worry, we are going to take care of some certain things. Out of the 15 agenda, they said they are going to do 9. Do you know that this government has not done 1? And those money has not been paid even till now. Then let me lose that one. Again, let us look at the issue of the labor.
But a lot of the MOUs signed with ASU,
yes,
were with previous administrations.
Government is continuing.
I know government is a continuum.
And this government promised them.
I know. I'm going somewhere, Mr. Adegbero. I know government is a continuum, but I'm trying to say, perhaps the administration is seeing it as we are not the ones who actually agreed to this agreement.
Okay.
So we cannot really be tied by it. You get what I mean? Okay. So maybe there's got to be fresh negotiations.
Do you know what we are saying?
Between the two.
What we are saying is against the labor law. It's against the law at all. Let me give you.
I have broken the constitution as well.
Do you know that? Do you know that?
Okay.
Do you know that? The last government was on East-West Road. This government continues it, have you? Okay. The revenue that the last administration they put inside our reserve, this government meant it to, and they are spending from it, have you? Okay. The permanent secretary that were appointed, this government meant and still working with them, have you? The ministry and all those infrastructure that those other, they are still continuing with it. Look, that's why we say, when we say government is continuum, what is this? Is this? If President Muhammad Buhari administration hold me and I sue them and they are to pay damages to me, and this government comes in, they are the one that will pay it.
Yeah.
So the one that they are not part of is Muhammad Buhari. Is it the one in 2009? No. So what is important here is that in the angle of rule of law, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration needs to really work hard. If you want to score them, they won't score 25%. This particular government has shown that they don't obey. Okay, look at police, for instance. Do you know how many court order that an agency, okay, just of today, House Committee on Environment, they call the Minister for Environment, they call NEMA, they call all of them to come and explain what happened. Do you know that the agency under this executive did not come? So these are the, and this is a constitutional matter that House of Rep, National Assembly, they have the right to summon any agency of government, anybody working with government. They have the right. In fact, they can issue a bench warrant.
Okay.
So if you now have that kind of thing in the rule of law, this government needs to do more.
Impunity.
So that we need to have more. Because this is what the investors normally look like. That's what they look at. If you have a government that doesn't follow rule of law, if I have to invest my own money in Nigeria, and the agency did something wrong to my investment,
how am I going to get justice?
And I have to sue them,
that.
how am I going to get justice?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Digbemlo. I'll throw the same question to you, Mr. Shopiton. Are we too hasty in judging this administration? Shouldn't we at least be patient, like the presidency has been telling Nigerians to be, so that, you know, we can begin to enjoy the results of the policies in the long run?
The reason people are being impatient, we're being impatient, we're being hasty, and I think it's conscious. I think you know, on the one hand, experience has now taught us. You know, we're all learning. We're learning. It's 25 years of democracy. It's the first time in our history that we have had this long uninterrupted. So we're learning. And one of the lessons we have now learned, it has now dawned on us, is that governance takes place in only 2 years. If you want to be very charitable, you say 2.5, right? The other part is for politicking and campaigns and all of that, including, you know, it's not just the campaigning, it's the fact that decision making is now extremely politicized, because you are now thinking of the election which is around the corner, right? So people now know this and they're being impatient, deliberate, like, no, we want results now. Okay. Are we being fair? I would have said that we ordinarily will say, look, subsidy removal, if you really want to be honest, the outcomes and the benefits cannot happen in a year. It can't even happen in 2. You'll be talking 3 years, 4 years, and then the person will say, give me another term. Why? Because the monies that you take away from giving subsidies, you are reinvesting in things that will take time to happen. Infrastructure development. You want to build hospitals, you want to build schools, you want to build roads, and all of that. For me to entrust my future, that I should delay my gratification from governance from today for 3 to 3 years later, I have to trust the person that is asking me to do so. And it is that same person that is lying to me today. How will I trust them? So you see, the reason there appears to be so much impatience is that people simply don't trust the government. Nigerians don't trust Nigerian governments generally. There's a standard lack of trust deficit between the people and the government in Nigeria generally, based on our historical antecedents. With this particular administration, it has been made far worse because of the things that we have seen in just this very short time. It has become clear to some people that the things that these people say, we may not be able to hold on to it and believe that it will happen. So no, I don't want to wait for 3 years to see the outcome of subsidy removal. I want you to fix the situation today. I cannot be spending, do you know how much people spend on, I don't even know how people are surviving, honestly. You know, so I can't be spending all of my income on just 2 items in my daily requirements, and you say I should wait for 3 years. There has to be solutions today. So again, this is why some of us have said, when these 2 policies were being implemented or introduced, there ought to have been better planning for the immediate effects, because those immediate effects will happen. And it's a man that is alive that you say should wait for 3 years to see fruits of governance. If I'm dead before then what's the point? So all of this issue of palliative, look, it's turned out that it was a ruse. Where are the palliatives today? I'm looking at a report, their own report of their performance, right? It's right in front of me. I've looked at the Renewed Hope agenda, the manifesto. I've looked at this 1-year report card, and I'm just seeing inconsistencies. Number one, I'm seeing lies in the report. You know, look, I'm looking at a figure here that says under economic development, the government has attracted $30 billion. There's an infographic here of foreign direct investment. So when I saw that, my eye nearly dropped out of my leg. With 30 billion, this is my field. 30 billion. I now read in detail. I now saw one place that they said the president has traveled around the world and has garnered interest of 30 billion investment in Nigeria. Interest. So that interest in investment has converted to a performance indicator that they are putting here as we attracted 30 billion investment, FDI. In fact, they said this is the highest in the history. It's there. I'm looking at it right now. You know, so how can I trust this, that a government that is doing this to me today will be able to deliver on the promises that it says it will give to me tomorrow? That's why you are seeing this impatience. So the impatience, I think, is justified. I think is necessary, in fact. I think we have to be impatient. We must say, no, I'm not interested in what will happen in 3 years. I want what will happen today. So the government must come out with programs that will impact the lives of Nigerians today, immediate. And then, now, are they mutually exclusive? Is somebody trying to convince me that if I provide immediate benefits of governance to citizens today, I will be unable to provide benefits of governance in 3 years' time? Is it that the one cannot happen without the other? So you can, for example, find a way to subsidize food. I've said this thing before. People are hungry. People can't eat properly anymore. People are not transporting themselves to what they are trekking, to the detriment of their health and well-being. Can you subsidize transportation and food through stamps, food stamps, and subsidy tickets that you are working with NURTW, and Nigerian Road Transport Employers, Nigerian Road Transport Workers, all of, gather them together, pump money into that system in a transparent manner, and let citizens enjoy it, even if you use something like Cowry Card that Lagos is doing. You know, these things can be implemented relatively quickly. If people see that you are doing it, they will be patient. How can you subsidize food towards farmers? Give farmers money so that food can become cheaper. If you do those types of things, you have immediate impact on the lives of people, whilst you continue to then try to apply savings from subsidy to build infrastructure and all of that. But right now, we're just hearing, be patient, be patient. But as you are telling us to be patient, we're seeing plenty of falsehood, even from official documents from government. How can I be patient with somebody that is lying officially to me? It's difficult. And I think that's why you are seeing this impatience and why people are saying, we have to judge today. It's been 1 year. Let us see how we are. And the report card is, even, Mama P, Mr. Tinubu, please read this thing. It's in Premium Times. You will see, if you read through this, their own performance assessment, you see how shallow it is. It is shallow. There is no substance. You can't pick on any performance. They themselves cannot outline any tangible thing that they have done in this 1 year. You can just see how shallow it is. And there's we will. So there's still a lot of promises in their own performance assessment. That tells you how serious the matter is. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, I'm getting so many feedback today. But unfortunately, there are messages I cannot read on national television.
People are angry.
All right, let me try and read this one. This one said, Madam Buzz, my name is Patience. In case you don't know. Thank you. Anyway, it says, the fact is, fuel and hardship of currency. Small businesses are dying now in Nigeria. We all cannot become a criminal. For over 2 weeks now, I have not made sales of 20,000 naira. Please, I need help. Okay, I'm actually quickly running through the messages. Okay, most of them I can't read. I understand that people's emotions
are very high.
Yeah, right now. So you're putting that in the message. It's fine. Okay, so so 1 year is done and dusted. Okay, so going forward, what should this administration be doing differently, in your own view?
Well, the first one is this. We've talked about the one of transparency. They need to be transparent and be truthful to Nigerians. That one is the foundation of everything. That's anybody you don't believe, even if that person is doing good things, you will never believe that person. So the issue of trust, they must build a trust base with the Nigerians, and Nigerians will believe what they are doing. Then the second one is the issue of this fuel crisis. I must confess, there are a lot of party shady deals that are still happening. It's not transparent enough. It's not transparent enough. And if the prices of the pump price is still going up and it's still going up, I'm telling you, all that things is going to be followed. It needs to do something. The administration needs to do something. Then the third one is the issue of education. Mama B, before, poor students, let me say students from poor homes, what they normally target, they target federal school. Do you know the reason why they target federal school? It's not that federal schools are better than state school, no. Because of their affordability. I can tell you, state school and federal school are the same now. This one, I'm also involved. If I have a kid that wants to study pharmacy in one federal university, and I have to give up to over 300,000 naira, it's not holistic. I'm still going to pay for medical, whatever, 300 and something thousand. And that is the problem. Unity school, that is a federal secondary school, that is not above 50,000 naira before for a version. Now it's 150. So the government needs to, the issue of education, because what federal government has done in the last 1 year is that they told all the federal universities, go and source for fund. And if they are sourcing for fund, those ones, in fact, if you enter the school cell, they can say they want to be collecting gate fee. So they must make this education affordable to the poor. Those private schools, if they like, they should charge whatever they can charge. Rich people will still pay because they have the money. But the one that has to do with the federal, state will deal with the governors on that. But the one of the federal university, federal polytechnic, federal college of education, we are begging the government to really work on that. Then healthcare facilities. Drugs are very expensive. They will be expensive because majority of the manufacturers are leaving Nigeria to another country and they are importing it back to Nigeria at the high prices. So what is important is that still further on the economy. They should make this manufacturer stable. If they are stable in Nigeria, how can they move to a Ghana, a country that when you remove Lagos from Ghana, Ghana is finished. Now, a country that is on its own value is not even up to one state in Nigeria. They will not go to that country, produce in that country. They will not import it back to our own country. I think government needs to do that. And the issue of small-scale industry, medium-scale industry, and the manufacturers, they need to do more in terms of that. Then lastly, the issue of poverty. Those people that you look up to before, that you can get urgent 10K, urgent 20K, they said they are begging for money. So this issue of poverty, we are going to rate any government high. The government that put more money, that reduce the number of people in poverty in the country. In fact, according to United Nations, one of the things we are going to use to rate a country is how many of your citizens are in poverty. In Nigeria, in the last 1 year, don't let us lie to ourselves. Just look around where you live. Even those people that we always see, they are wealthy, go and see them today. This government needs to do something. And one of the things you can do for poverty, the number one thing that you can do, the first one is food. The first one is food. The issue of shelter can now come, but number one is the food. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Digbenro. Mr. Shokpito, going forward, what should this administration be doing?
Transparency. I don't know if we can say it enough. Honestly, because without trust, you can't lead a people. They will not follow you. And if they are not following you, you will fail. You can't call yourself a leader if you are walking alone. You are just taking a walk. You are not leading anybody. So this president in particular, let me speak to the president, not the administration. The president needs to understand that people need to trust him. He needs to understand that a lot of people don't trust him ab initio. He came on board with a legitimacy problem. He must never forget that. Now, what he needs to do is to bridge that gap, is to convince them that he can be trusted. So he has to ensure, he needs to put his house in order. There is too much disorder in his house. There's too much conflict between, within his agencies, within his appointees. There's just too much going on. He needs to put that in order, show a common united front. Look, this man was touted to be a master strategist, a wizkid, a super special brain. We need to see it in how the business of the federal government is run. Look, we said it that Lagos is not Abuja. Abuja is not Lagos. We said it, and he's beginning to see it now. The federal government is a behemoth. It's a huge octopus with hands and tentacles everywhere with several heads. So he needs to sit atop all of that and coordinate it, rein all of those tentacles in, let them move in unison, like an orchestra. He should be the conductor of the orchestra. For me, that is the important thing. The details in terms of policy implementation and all of that will follow. There are no simple solutions. That's the truth. The economy is in tatters. It was very bad before he came on. He made it worse with his braggadocious pronouncements and style. He needs to retract. See, if he doesn't step back, I'm sorry, I don't know how this is going to work out. He needs to step back, calm down, understand that he has a contract to lead the people out of a difficult stage in our development, and take that job seriously. He will not succeed as a president if he continues to behave as if he's the lord of the manor, who is an emperor that can do and undo, wave his hand and things happen. It's not going to happen. Nigeria is too complicated, it's too complex, it's too large. The economy is too large, the geography is too large, we're too diverse. So he needs to bring people together. Within this next 1 year, that is what I would really like to see, because I think if he changes his tact and his approach and becomes a bit more human and humble, he will do well, because he will then be able to take advice. We are not lacking in ideas. We're not lacking in intellect, in brilliance of thought. There's too many bright minds around, and they're all around him as well. I know some of them. So the problem is not a lack of ideas. The problem is the will and the approach, the style. The governance style from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to change. Going forward, that's what I want to see. I want to see a change in style, such that you don't think that without thinking it through, without speaking with experts, just like I said now, you have experts around you, speak with them. You just come out and say subsidy is gone. You have to think it through. You must plan. When I say subsidy is gone, what is the likely next reaction from the public space? What do we do to checkmate that? Okay. You have to do that. It's like playing chess. So we need to see a lot more of that. That requires humility. Because if you are not humble, you say, no, just remove it, we'll deal with it. That's a braggy way of leading. It won't work. Humility, transparency, accountability is what I would like to see going forward.
Thank you so very much, gentlemen. All right, so as we continue, to read more comments online on the president's 1 year in office, let me quickly quote a very popular newspaper editor. And he says, the main challenge this administration faces going forward is to demonstrate by action its readiness to leave the reality in which Nigerians struggling to survive and make ends meet find themselves on a daily basis. That will not happen where it engages in wasteful spendings on its officials and projects of dubious value. End of quote. As few as those words are, it carries a whole lot of weight and also portrays what the expectations of the majority of Nigerians are for the next 1 year of this administration. Well, that's the size of our package this afternoon. Many thanks to my studio guests today, Mr. Nuruddin Adegbenu. Thank you, sir, for coming through. And thank you, Mr. Segun Shopito. Fantastic analysis once again. All right, people, this is the only country we have, okay? So we've got to fix it. Anyway, we have to fix it. I will pray that those in the corridors of power, those in places of authorities will actually listen to the cries of Nigerians and do what is needful to be done. Let's do good by the Nigerian people. Thank you. God bless our country, Nigeria. We'll see you tomorrow, God willing. Have yourself a beautiful day. Bye for now.